Alright, hello internet who nobody looks to see who I am. It's kind of nice talking to myself. Makes me, I don't know, helps you think. To actually voice your thoughts, it gives them legitimacy, it makes them feel more solid, and you understand them better. Because if you say them out loud and they don't quite make sense, you know, maybe they didn't make sense in your head after all. So if you speak them out loud, then it really helps you out. I suggest anybody do it. When you're alone in the car, if you're in the shower, whatever, just speak your thoughts out loud. Give voice to them. They'll make a lot more sense to you later. Okay. Now, I think my conclusion as of today, just today's thoughts from all the stuff that I look at music, I look at government, I look at financial, I look at everything. I even look at the conspiracy side just to see what is going on. I think my conclusion today, as of right now, is that our true world history is starting to come out, and it's been hidden from us for a long time by people who got very rich in the past. If you get very rich, you want to protect your position, so you do everything you can to make sure the rest of humanity can't rise to where you're at. I don't know what it is about the human condition, about human psychology in general. Freud knew about it, but he didn't say anything because, well, he was paid not to. But I think right now, the only reason we're still just hooked on oil is because the families that made money in oil, and I'm talking ruling the world type of money, the families that made money on oil have done everything they can to protect their golden goose, to hold on to their moneymaker. They don't want the rest of us to get better. They want to keep control and stay on top. Now, they've done everything they can to make sure we don't hear about any other technology. So now you've got a world that's completely addicted to oil because we've been told by scientists, by politicians, by rich people, by celebrities that that's the only way. There is no other way. It's all just occult mysticism, and no, science tells us oil is the only way to produce our energy. Now, I've looked into it, and oil does give you a lot of energy. But there's a lot better ways. Okay, now in the 70s, we had people who were inventing carburetors that would get 200 miles per gallon because they knew liquid gasoline is not flammable. The vapors from that gasoline are flammable. So if I squirt a droplet of gasoline into an engine, the vapor that comes off of the surface area of that droplet is the only thing that burns. When it goes in, it gets hotter because the engine's hot, so a little bit of that droplet vaporizes. Now I've got more vapor. If I take a rag and I soak it in gasoline and squeeze out all the excess, I can lay it over top of my carburetor and my car will run for a few minutes, just drawing air through that rag of vapors. Now, some of these carburetors it was just like our standard car. They had a carburetor that used a Venturi that pulled gas in towards the engine with airflow. But behind that carburetor, in between it and the cylinder, was a super absorbent material, and there was an extra long length of pipe for the vapors to escape that extra absorbent material from. So now when your engine is running, the airflow is pulling the liquid gas into that super absorbent material. It holds on to the liquid gas, but it allows the vapors to escape. The vapors are what gets sucked into the engine and burn. Now you have a completely 100% efficient burn because there's no unburnt liquid gasoline. Remember, liquid is not flammable. It will put out a cigarette. So there have been people who got 200 miles per gallon, 100 miles per gallon. Some of them used what is called a fish carburetor, and instead of having one fuel inlet point that the Venturi draws fuel from, you have between 8 and 10 much smaller inlets, which produce a much finer mist of fuel, so there's a lot less liquid gasoline. Now you're getting a lot more vapor than you're getting liquid gasoline, so you don't need a catalytic converter because you have no unspent fuel exiting your exhaust pipe. It's burning completely. Okay, now you've got a group that's ruling the world with oil. Well, now you've got another group that wants to be rich and rise to the top, much like the oil controllers. So they started telling us how bad this oil is, and that we all need to start paying carbon credits and more taxes. So now we have to use oil because it's the only way, and we're going to pay taxes on it because it's killing the environment. Now, if you're looking through the patents and you see patents that would reduce our need for oil and our consumption of it, wouldn't you think those would be readily available to the public at a cheaper cost than the regular? It's going to save the environment. It's killing us all. Pollution is bad. Oh no, that's right, because the ones who sell the oil won't let that tech come out because then they'll lose profits. Anybody who works in the manufacturing industry right now feels that doing the right thing isn't what you're supposed to do anymore. You do the profitable thing. Screw whoever downline from you is gonna suffer from it. You save 13% on manufacturing. Now your profit margin has drastically increased. Not that you're getting any of the profit back, but your profit margin is all that matters today. It's a sad reality. Everybody's given direction from their higher ups, and as it turns out, most manufacturing in the US, well, worldwide right now, is pretty much in the pocket of investors, because companies need investments, they need new equipment, they need upkeep, they need capital. Investors provide capital as long as you pay them back a certain percentage in profit. That's how our economic system works. So now all of us are building crap. We know it. You're not doing what's right. We have to use oil because there's no other tech. Science told us. The fix is out here, people. All you have to do is look, research, do some investigating, actually look online. There's lots of stuff out here. We can make it better. We just need to get rid of investors, get rid of usury. The very word interest should be illegal. Interest is creating money from nothing. That's what's killing the world. That's what needs to go away. The oil companies controlled politicians and whoever else that ran the patent office. Nikola Tesla had free energy. He discovered it. Everything is frequency and vibration. Look up Wardenclyffe Tower. If you're unsure how to spell it, just start guessing. Google will figure it out. It's in New York. Look for it. Wardenclyffe Tower. We have the very possibility of free energy worldwide. That means deserts can now irrigate the desert and grow food with no pollution. That means we can all get around the planet without pumping hydrocarbons into the atmosphere that we all have to breathe. We can do it with electricity. Clean, free. The possibilities are out there. We just all have to start doing the right thing. Get rid of investors. They're killing every bit of our manufacturing and making everything we buy crap. So we have to keep buying more because it breaks. That's just waste and consumerism, all based on materialistic needs. If we made a quality product, yeah, we could have one, and we'll have whatever it is for a lot longer without having to buy it again. Look at the investor side of it. They want return sales. They don't want it to last forever, which is exactly like the medical industry. There's no money in a cure. There's only money in treatments. You don't want to fix their problem and never see them again. That's a one-time paycheck. You want to keep seeing them every month or every 2 weeks or every 3 months, so they keep feeding the pig. They keep pumping money into the system. Our very economic system is the cause of all of our problems. Look at all the countries around the world that hate us now. Afghanistan, ooh, we spread democracy, and just so happened we took over all the poppy fields shortly before the heroin epidemic took over the country. Look at Iraq. Ooh, yeah, they had weapons of mass destruction, so we invaded. Shortly before, or shortly after, they said they would take something other than dollars for oil. Ooh, look at Cuba. Ooh, yeah, they're communists, they're horrible. We invaded, or we tried to. We sent a horde of Cubans who were anti-Castro, hoping we could get the rest of the country talked into it. Shortly after, Castro said he wanted a fair market price for his sugar because Coca-Cola was buying it by the ton for pennies on the dollar. Oh, wait, I know. Let's look at another country. Libya. Oh, same thing with oil. Syria. Oh, yeah, that's right. Pipelines. Oil. It seems like everything is a rich man's trick to keep a rich man rich, and us all tethered to the system that's killing us all. It's easy fix, people. Start following the QAnon just out of curiosity to see what it is, and you'll notice that QAnon is every single one of us. The ones who want to do what's right, not what's profitable. We want to do what makes logical sense, what is best for everybody, not just ourselves at that present point in time. I think I've grown out of that mentality of being a teenager and wanting to do as little as possible and get everything I can out of it. I know a lot of other people have too. All you gotta do is think. Meditate. That's basically just thinking on steroids. You meditate, you drown out the rest of the world, and you just talk to the guy that's in your head and have a conversation. Just the guy in your head that's, the guy who says maybe you shouldn't say that, or I wonder what would happen if. That guy, that's your inner person. You need to start talking to that guy. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I got to go to work and immerse myself in some more stupidity that's driven by greed. But I'm doing my best to do what's right and get everybody else to see it from the same perspective. Because as soon as we all see it from the same perspective, world change can happen in the snap of some fingers. Like that. That's all it takes. Look at Nestle. Look at Twitter. Look at Facebook. All of those companies thought they were on top of the world. All it took was a change in some perspective, and suddenly Facebook lost 157 billion. Suddenly Twitter lost 60% of its stock value. Suddenly Nestle's been boycotted across the country. That's all it takes. The power of all of us is a lot more powerful than the few of them. It's just like the bug's life. You had the grasshoppers and you had the ants. The grasshoppers knew if those little piddly ants ever teamed up, they outnumbered the grasshoppers 100 to 1. That's the same way we are with the rich and almighty people on top of the world right now. Not necessarily the Forbes richest 500 people list, but the people above that. The people they never talk about. The people that are just kind of hinted around about in the background, but you never actually hear about. Never pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Like, the Rothschilds. Ooh, control all the world banking. Or the Rockefellers. Oh, U.S. oil families who work very closely with Middle East oil families and don't want to lose that oil money. The Warburtons, another oil family. There's all kinds of them. They're all out there. They're never talked about. Look at the royal families around the world. They're just unbelievably rich. Money is not even an object to them because they don't need money. They control the world. They're the ones who let money be used. That's who is killing the planet right now. They have no sense of humanity. They only see themselves as the rulers of humanity. And for some reason they think they know more than the rest of us. Possibly because they've keeping the information hidden from us. So technically they are more informed than we are about the universe. But that's all we need to do, people. Change your perspective. I have. I hope you do too. I'll see you at a rally.